Hello. We have all learned so much during the pandemic. One of the things that I've come to appreciate is that opening schools is certainly easier than keeping them open. We continue to monitor the health metrics in the city and county as well as within Northside schools. Cases have continued to rise in San Antonio over these last few weeks since the holidays, and we want to do our part to avoid broader closures of schools or other important institutions. The state requires us to offer in-person instruction daily, and in fact, our funding is tied to this requirement. But we still want to do what we can to help keep the public health metrics in check. That's why I'm speaking to you today. If your child is currently attending school in person, I ask that you consider switching them to virtual learning for the next 2 weeks, from January the 19th after the upcoming Martin Luther King Jr. holiday until January 29th at the end of the month. Hopefully, this will get us past the surge in cases we are now seeing in our city. Obviously, this is not feasible for all of our families. However, if your child can be successful in the virtual environment, I ask that you consider making this temporary change. If you do choose to go to virtual learning for these 2 weeks, you will in no way be giving up an in-person slot for the rest of the school year. To be clear, this is a request. This is not mandatory, and we are not closing Northside schools. I've tried to communicate clearly my belief that the majority of our students are better served by in-person learning. If your child is more successful attending school each day, they should stay there, and that option remains. This suggestion also does not apply to the small number of high school students who returned to in-person learning earlier this week. These students attend an alternating day hybrid schedule, and our high school campuses have relatively small numbers of students in attendance on a given day. While I mentioned the time frame of January the 19th through the 29th, families can transition to virtual learning immediately if they're ready. Some of you, we know, will need additional time to plan and make arrangements for your children. Some of you have already decided to keep your children virtual for the time being, and we have certainly seen lower numbers of students attending school in person at some campuses since the end of the winter break. Our staff will continue to work from buildings, and the district will support in-person and virtual instruction for the rest of the school year. Your child's daily attendance and engagement is critical, whether they are in person or learning from home. If your child needs a device to facilitate virtual learning, please contact your campus. We now have plenty available. We all need to do our part to help slow the spread of COVID-19, and yet balance that with the imperative to provide high-quality education to the children of our community. Thank you for your support of your child's education and of Northside Schools.